And we are live. Hey! Hello, everybody. For those who don't know me, hi, I'm Donarius. I'm the quote-unquote host of this show called Vtuber Gaming Talk, in which I invite a Vtuber for a one-on-one talk about video game and video game-related topics. And today we have the engineer robot man himself, Skip. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hey Dan, hey everybody. Yeah, my name is Skip Skiverson. I'm a space android VTuber and an engineer in real life. So it's good to actually talk, engineer to engineer and kind of just geek out about video games. And specifically, we've talked a little bit about Metal Gear, and I fucking love Metal Gear. So yes, I'm pumped to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. So the usual initial topic for the show is I usually ask for your favorite games, right? So let's start with that first before going into Metal Gear, because I have a few things to say about that. But
sure.
That's later. What are your favorite games then?
So before you had me on, you had me make a playlist of songs. And I specifically chose games from that I played that I super enjoy for that list, and it forced me to kind of think about that for a little bit. But specifically, then I am a sucker for strategy games.
Yeah.
I also love, I'm down with almost every type of game except for fighting games. But like, if you said, "Hey, Skip, I'm forcing you into a corner," you have to tell me what game's your favorite. It's got to be, for me, it's Heroes of Might and Magic 3. I've been a sucker for it ever since it got released. I don't know, have you heard of that before? Have you played Heroes of Might and Magic before?
Heroes of what? Again? Sorry, I didn't hear the last part of the name. It just blanked in my mind. Heroes of Magic? You said?
Heroes of Might and Magic.
Heroes of Magic. No, I haven't heard of it, actually.
Yeah, so Heroes of Might and Magic is it's a tactical game based off of a like Morrowind-esque first-person like computer role-playing game that was in the 90s called Might and Magic, where basically you were like like the old school games where it is a first-person game and you have your sword and shield and you're just casting magic spells and stuff like a dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
They made a spin-off from that was all like tactical. So you have towns, you have a battle map that's all hexes. You as you go through, you're doing resource management and hiring armies to explore this map and go through storylines and stuff. And like, I found it when I was a kid. It was a gift a friend gave to me when we were both in, like, I don't know, grade 5. Like, shit, that was a long time ago. But like, I know that's aging me. But he gave it to me as a gift, and I just got hooked, and it was fun ever since. So that's got to be my favorite game, and it's wild because that game is so popular in Eastern Europe. It's still getting fan patches. Like there's a group of people that this game from 1999, they have enjoyed it so much they've released 2 new factions. There's different like factions you can be while you're in the game. Like essentially, like you pick a town and it's that kind of town, and all the units in the game for like the combat are based off of like D&D monsters and mythological creatures and stuff. So like there's like a traditional knights and castle town. There's like forest elves and dragons town. There's like a dungeons town with like beholders and goblins and stuff. There's like an undead town that's all skeletons and zombies and ghost dragons. And these different towns, there were originally 9 of them, with the expansions that came out that were officially released by 3DO, a company, before they got like bought or taken over or whatever. So before like after that all happened and they got bought and their stuff got sort of taken over, and I think Ubisoft owns the rights to that game now. There's a group of modders and hackers in Poland that actually started releasing two new factions based off of lore from the original RPG games. And last year they came out with the most recent one, and it's called Factory. And it's like this cool steampunk Wild West sort of town where you have cowboys and dinosaurs, and the big like strong units you can get are mechs, like steam powered mechs, and it's really fucking cool. They made another one that's pirates, and I've been following this since I was a kid, and I'm still jazzed that people like this game so much that now, like 25 years later, they're still making content for it.
Jesus Christ!
It's really good. It's great.
That's great, dude. Like, dedication for games like that are very rare to see. Like, you have other like examples of it, specifically Sonic, if I'm being honest. But
oh yeah,
there's an interesting modding feel for a lot of games, but not many games can claim the title that have been still alive since 1999, you know? Outside of maybe Sonic Adventure 2, but still, that's not 99, that's 2000s at this point.
Yeah, it's not just the franchise, it's like that game specifically gets a lot of attention.
Yeah, like Sonic Adventure 2 and Generation specifically, like those two are, I think, the most modded games there is on their series, maybe even of all time, who knows? Like, there's a metric buttload of modes in general.
Maybe, you know what, I think another good game that's in that same sort of field is, honestly, is like Morrowind.
Like, yeah, Morrowind and Skyrim.
Yeah, shit. I mean, we are hitting about, like, what, 14 years with Skyrim, right? Like, how many years has it been out, honestly? It came out in, what, 2010?
It came out in 2010, 2012. I might be confusing that with GTA 5, but yeah.
But,
damn, the early
yeah, I mean, that's still been modded to death. But I mean, also, Bethesda games in general are, like, just super moddable, right? Like, they come pre-broken and then the fans fix it, right? So,
yeah, why release a complete game when the fans fix it for you? Fuck it.
Hey, exactly. Hey.
It just works. God damn it.
Or, I mean, maybe not Fallout 1, but definitely Fallout, you know? Like, that's another prime example.
Yeah, Fallout either 3 or New Vegas are the one modded the hell and back.
Oh,
maybe even 4 got a few. I don't know about Fallout 76. That will be funny.
Well, I mean, 76 is good, but it's complicated. I actually beat 76. Like, I played it when, like, they went through... 76 has gone through, like, a couple different rebirths, it feels like, where, like...
I mean...
like, the whole adding NPCs. I beat that entire game before NPCs were a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was... Oh, it was...
They made it such a big deal because people were literally complaining about it since day one, alongside the metric buttload of other shit that was in the game day one.
I know people shit on it, but like the thing for me that was kind of magical is like I played during this sweet spot where it was during the pandemic and everyone was inside, and so a bunch of people, including me, just role-played characters.
Yeah. So
there weren't any NPCs, so it was all players. So like, I set up a store and just pretended to be a general store owner for a while, just like on the first like little town that you get to right when you leave the vault. Mm-hmm. And it was just fun. Like I did that for a couple weekends and just had fun. And I ran into a bunch of interesting people that way. And it's not like the game has chat either. Like you can't really talk or really insult anybody. It's just emotes. So like, it just ended up being this sort of, for me at least, it ended up being this sort of like safe feeling, chill environment where you just got to roleplay if you wanted to. And like, I know it feels weird to me now that there are NPCs and like there's a whole world associated with stuff and lore and whatever, because like I remember I remember that game specifically when there was nothing and it was just fans doing cheesy shit and just being silly, and I liked that.
Yeah, that's actually really nice. Nowadays, people are just having fun with it, and I think it's thanks to the series, which is funny, That is another nickel of games that revise things to outside media of the game. That
Yeah,
and the
I mean,
fact that it's kind of fixed compared to what it was at launch, so that's cool too.
Well, I think Fallout's also just getting a bunch of attention now because
This show.
Exactly. Yeah,
The
like
show-
people are geeking out about the show.
I mean, that's the second time this happens. Like, first happened with Cyberpunk and now this. At least with Cyberpunk, they were fixing the game way before the show came out. And once Edge Runners came out, that just exploded the popularity of Cyberpunk. Everybody and their mother was playing it. Because it was a tie-in at the end of the day. It was all technically part of the same timeline and universe and whatever. So, yeah. I don't know about the Fallout show, though. That might be completely different compared to Fallout 76, if I remember correctly. I don't know.
So I've finished it. I watched all of it. I won't talk spoilers.
Okay.
I will say that it is set on the West Coast instead of 76 is set on the East Coast in Appalachia or Appalachia, depending on if you're from there, I guess. But this is back in California. It's not in West Virginia. So there are. I'm not gonna. Again, I don't want to spoil it for anybody because I know it just came out like a month ago, right? Like there are locations though that are you'll recognize if you've played Fallout 1 or Fallout 2.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's good.
All right.
Not so much New Vegas, but like there's definitely places because that's the only 3D game that's not an isometric game, like the only first-person game that was set out west. So there's some stuff that you'll see that is in the game, and it's worth like. I mean, I haven't played 1 and 2 personally. Like I went back and watched Let's Plays, but like, the lore is just cool. I like it. It's neat. I can see how it diverged, but it's still cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Like, I am not too big of a Fallout guy myself. Neither Skyrim. I actually don't like any of them, but I need to try out more of their games so I can, I guess, develop a taste for them. To be completely honest, I don't know. I played Fallout 3. I kind of got done with the bullshit that was trying to run Fallout 3 on Windows 10. But
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
hey, Games for Windows Live. Hey. Oh boy, dude.
You know what? I'm tempted to just grab a fucking 360 emulator and fucking play it there because it's so bullshit. Good lord.
Hey, I mean, if you do, I think the most recent. I know, like, I've been really tempted with trying to grab a used Xbox One X because they did a bunch of Microsoft did a bunch of cool upscaling stuff for 360 games. So, like, the old games like Red Dead Redemption. Or before Red Dead Redemption 2, because that's on the PC, right? Like Red Dead Redemption 1. Entire game, Microsoft went through and did a bunch of upsampling for their new consoles. So you can pop in the 360 disc, but the game that gets installed has better textures and stuff. Which, I don't know, I've been just, like, I get obsessive about when I try to stream games. I try to stream it on original hardware, but get that put out to HDMI so that I can get out to Switch. Like, we talked about Metal Gear. Like, I played the entirety of Metal Gear Solid 1 with a PS1 disc in a PS2, outputting to 720p to Twitch.
Wow.
So, yeah, I did, because this was like, I mean, Metal Gear fans are eating good right now. Like, there's, Konami finally pulled the stick out of their ass and, like, is selling all the Metal Gear games on Steam. And I was trying to do this back in 2000, and there was just nothing, man. There was nothing going, like, nothing to purchase for that. So it was just playing stuff on the original hardware. So, like, I played everything. I played all of Fallout on all of Metal Gear Solids 1, 2, and 3 on a PS2, and then for 4, I moved to over to a PS3 because a buddy of mine gave me a PS3 as part of a Christmas gift / bet I lost, and said, you need to play all of the Metal Gear series. Go do this. Go play these games. And so I said, fine, fuck you. I'm going to stream them to Twitch, and that's how I ended up doing all that.
I'm
So I
guessing...
played all of them.
Okay, which version of Metal Gear Solid 2 you played? Like vanilla or Substance?
It was Subsistence.
Okay, cool. So, have you tried the the skateboard minigame or not?
Yeah, yeah. I just felt bad. I felt bad because I didn't really have a console growing up as a kid. Like I just had, I only really had a PC games, and even then, it was just whatever I could scrounge. Like my parents refused to get video games, so it was either if it was something that was given to me, or I found it at a garage sale and I had enough money to buy it for myself as a kid and sneak it. That was it. Otherwise, like I had stuff like Jumpstart 5th Grade, oh boy, or like Super Solver's Sleuth Adventures and educational games and shit. Which was fine, but it meant that I never got to play Final Fantasy when it came out, like Final Fantasy VII. I never got to play Metal Gear Solid when it came out, or 2 when that came out. And I think when I was in high school, I have brothers, and we got a PS2, and I got to play Katamari.
Cool.
When I was like leaving my house growing up. But that's about it. Like we got an Xbox, I think after I'd left the house for college, and got like Halo 3. Like Halo 3 came out the first year I was in college, so that didn't really happen for me. So that meant that I had to sneak stuff like Heroes of Might and Magic on my family computer at the time. Or play shit like RuneScape. I've got a couple of the songs that are on this playlist are
from RuneScape. Yeah, I think the first song that was playing on the playlist was from RuneScape.
Yeah, I kind of can't hear because I don't have your stream up. I don't want to hear double voices, so I believe you.
Yeah, no, that was at the beginning of the stream. Now it's playing Herald of Darkness. Can you explain me what that is?
Yeah, that's from Alan Wake 2. I loved Alan Wake. I got to play it on the 360. That and Control. So like all of Alan Wake is in all the Remedy games. Remedy, honestly, if you like, okay, let me. I'm like talking over myself here. All right, so we're talking Metal Gear, right? Metal Gear is insane because Kojima is a really great author, and I like the stuff that he's done, and like how crazy his predictions are for like how society's going to go. I think Alan Wake is Alan Wake is a game made by Finnish Kojima, basically.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm blanking on the guy who actually
wrote Alan Wake.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name, but he is Sam Lake. Sam Lake, that's right. He's just as involved as Kojima in like authoring the stuff that Remedy makes, and so like Alan Wake was a game about a writer in the Pacific Northwest who is like he's a successful writer. He's kind of like Stephen King, and he's trying to find a place to escape his demons, and his marriage is on the rocks. So he takes he and his wife agree to like go to a cabin on a lake and just chill and try to fix their marriage and just have a good time. And it goes way fucking south and into like Twilight Zone shit, and he starts seeing these shadows, like very very Twin Peaks flavor kind of vibe, where he starts seeing these shadows in this sleepy Pacific Northwest town, and like he's trying to vanquish them. Like normal citizens of the town are getting taken over by these demons, and the game sort of progresses from there. Like, do you mind if I spoil at this point a 10-year-old game?
A little. Maybe not. I actually have it but never played it. But you know, I'm going to stop you a little bit right there just to go a little tangent that I don't know why you're explaining me Deadly Premonition. Like that sounds like the description of fucking Deadly Premonition. Like I played that and that's exactly what it is. Like what the hell?
Because Deadly Premonition is basically like Twin Peaks, the show.
Pretty much.
It's just.
It's Twin Peaks, but if it has like horrible controls in most of the areas, and an empty town. But yeah.
But if you want Twin Peaks but a little bit more lively, Alan Wake is the game for you. And
Gotcha.
the series goes Alan Wake and then Control, which is a game that came out in 2020.
Yeah.
And is absolutely worth playing. Super fun game.
I actually have both, yes.
Did you play have you played Control?
No, but I want to. I've seen a lot of things about Control, and it looks way better than Alan Wake.
It's amazing.
At least.
Also, this song you're listening to here, this band, is a real band from
Gods of Asgard.
Finland.
Yeah.
But the real band is called Poets of the Fall. They're a band that exists IRL that work with Sam Lake and Remedy to make these songs, and these songs are canon in game.
Ooh.
Like the dudes, the poet, the old gods of Asgard are potentially just like actually Thor and Odin making rock music and trying to guide Alan. It's not that much of a spoiler to tell you that. Like that gets established like right away.
Oh,
but
that's so cool.
All these songs are canon. They are played in game. They have live action cutscenes in game. But fucking play them, man. Like the whole series is amazing. It's 3 games. It's Alan Wake 1, Control, and there is an Alan Wake related DLC, and that's not really a spoiler. It's,
American something. I don't remember the DLC.
So there's a DLC for Alan Wake, American Nightmare,
and
then there's a DLC. There's a DLC for Control called AWE, which the fans joked was called Alan Wake Expansion.
Ah.
It really stands for alternate world event, and it's part of the Control lore. But like, I won't spoil that. Play it. It's incredibly good. This band is super good, and they Sam Lake uses the band really well in all of these games.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason Alan Wake 2 won Game of the Year last year at the Game Awards, and it absolutely fucking deserved it. And I haven't gone through and played 2 yet, but I really want to. It's definitely worth it though. I played. Go play it if you get a chance to do all 3 games in a row, and like if you like lampooning story games or just talking about it, Alan Wake is a really good one to do.
I might play, depending on the results of this stream. If I get the VOD muted, I might just play it for myself because that sounds like a good idea. Because there is another game that has like music similar to this. That's completely different, and I think that's Metal Singer. If I remember correctly, that's the name. Metal Singer. It's an indie game.
What's Metal Singer? I haven't heard of that.
It's an indie first-person shooter rhythm game.
Interesting.
I think the premise is simple. You are just an angel and you're wreaking havoc on hell. That's it. That's what I got from it. And it has music similar to this. So I'm down.
Yeah, there's a VR game I've been meaning to get back to that I think would be really fun to play. It's a 4-player multiplayer game called Ragnarok. And you are a Viking, and in VR you have a drum kit in front of you, and you are beating the drum to the beat of metal songs, like real life metal songs, to get the rowers to row in time, and you're racing your friends to get to a destination. So the better you do at Drum Guitar Hero, set to like Swedish death metal music, the faster your boat goes and the better you're gonna do. Like it's great. It's really good. That's why yeah, we could talk about that all day. I personally am also a huge metalhead. Like I'm super into prog metal and other stuff, and that's why half the stuff that you're gonna see on here is metal or metal covers of songs, because I just fucking love all that.
Yeah, me too. I might not be too knowledgeable about bands and stuff, but I love me some good metal from time to time. My usual go-tos are Avenged Sevenfold and
hell yeah,
maybe
hell yeah.
A little bit of Ozzy. Maybe if I feel like a little bit of Ozzy Osbourne.
I mean, Ozzy's a classic. Or oh man, I'm trying to. Black Sabbath is a classic, right? Did you ever play? Oh shit! You know what's an absolute fucking crime because no one can stream it because of music copyright stuff.
Yeah.
No one can stream Brutal Legend.
No one can stream.
Sucks.
Okay, let me tell you about the games that I absolutely adore and I cannot stream. Like, Brutal Legends is one because I never have the opportunity to finish it. I played it. I think, halfway through, but never finished it. Because
You gotta finish it, man. It's good.
I have to finish it because it's fucking Jack Black and I adore that man. But thing is, Brutal Legend, Need for Speed, any Need for Speed in general, like from Most Wanted onwards, and heck, if every racing game from the early 2000s are a no-go because of this. Maybe you can get away with GTA if you mute the radio, but still. The good point about playing like games like that is just grab a car, drive, and just enjoy the music while driving, you know?
Man, how do you play like Tony Hawk nowadays? Like, how do you play Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2? Because like half of the charm of that game is the fact that the soundtrack is fucking great.
Yeah,
right?
For me at least, you cannot have Tony Hawk 1 at least without Superman. Like, Superman is the way to go with that one.
Yeah,
It's
or like
just...
No Cigar by Millennium. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
How do you?
Yeah, that's the thing. Games like that nowadays are a nightmare to share unless you're just sharing it in private, like on a Discord server or something like that. Yeah, like, it's just for, like, I guess it's just to be enjoyed like it's intended, like, just for yourself, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, because what else are you gonna do? That's it, right? That's all you got.
Yeah, unless you find a way to mod the shit out of the game, which some of them you can, like I said, GTA San Andreas had the option to, like, have your own personal music for the radio, but still, it's a little finicky, and I don't know how it works now, thanks to the HD collection. So,
Oh man,
yeah, that was.
let me tell you. I had that same problem where I was worried my VODs were going to get muted because of Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh.
Because Kojima has a boner for an absolute, like, he loves The Man Who Sold the World, like the David Bowie song. He loves that song so much, and it's everywhere in Metal Gear Solid 5, and I'm like, oh shit, there's just radios playing it, and other 80s songs just around in the world. And I found myself being like, okay, I really don't want my VOD to get muted. I'm just going to sing over top of the music. So, like, there's a couple VODs with me just singing The Man Who Sold the World as it's playing. Because I was like, I'm panicking. I need to like,
block it.
do the like, ruin the audio recognition stuff. But that also meant that you get, in Metal Gear Solid 5, you get the opportunity to put your own soundtrack on your helicopter that comes and picks you up and drops you off. And that meant that I could put Eurobeat and other like cringe songs on there as my playlist as I was playing stuff, and more copyright free stuff, and it was just a lot more fun doing that as Snake in Afghanistan with just like hardcore Eurobeat playing.
Jesus Christ! It's almost it's like the meme. Like you're playing Doom, but you play Caramel Dancer on the back while killing demons. It's just a classic.
Exactly.
Lord.
I need to finish. I need to play the second Katamari Damacy, or maybe not. I mean, like, that wasn't. Do you know the story behind? Like, since we're talking about it, Katamari Damacy is another game that's on my absolute all-time favorites list.
Yes.
And it's weird. I feel bad that there's a sequel that exists because the creator, when he made it, meant Katamari Damacy to be a
one-off thing.
Sort of. Yeah, a one-off game, but a protest game. Criticizing, he was trying to make an art piece criticizing consumerism and how toxic and shitty consumerism is, because you just roll a ball of junk up into space as you're fixing the mistakes that the King of All Cosmos made when he was drunk, right? That's why you're making all the stars in the universe again, because your dad got drunk and ruined reality, and you get to fix it as the prince. But, like, the author basically was like, "No, man, this was supposed to be a criticizing capitalism and the amount of shit that exists in people's everyday lives and how we don't really need it." And then Konami was like, or Bandai Namco was like, "Huh, okay, all right, cool, tight. What if we made another one because it sold really well?" And he's like, "No, it's meant to just be a one-off piece." They said, "How about fuck you and we make another one?" and he just wasn't included in the development of Katamari Damacy 2 or anything since then. Like, yeah, he wasn't involved with Beautiful Katamari. Like, although he did go on to make some other really weird shit that I like a lot. Like, there was a downloadable only game that came out for the PS3 called Nobi Nobi Boy, where you played co-op with a friend, and you played a guy, kind of like the prince. You played this you were just a little scrungly dude, and you played as, the whole game mechanic was that there was 2 players. One player was the front half of this character that was like walking on all fours like a dog. The other was the other half of this character. And so one person was the head and another person was the ass. And you just kind of stretched out this guy and ate objects in the world. And the character's name was Boy. You'd eat shit in the world, including people, until Boy got longer. And once you reached an appropriate length, you would then go into space and vomit give your length to a giant space god named Girl. And that was the game. It was so fucking weird and super cute and like
with the exact
just strange as hell.
Well, not exact same, but a similar premise to Katamari Damacy too.
Yeah, except less ball, more make Boy long.
Basically makes Katamari Damacy with Snake. Just like the game Snake.
Yeah, so it sounds like you have played it. It's just fucking weird.
No, I didn't play it, but yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, like, you got the premise. That's basically it.
Yeah, I got the premise. But yeah. I don't know, I'm still reading out about the fact that of that message. It's too obvious, but I didn't even notice that message. It makes a total sense.
Oh, like, the Katamari criticizing consumerism?
Yeah, the criticism for consumerism. That makes a lot of sense. Huh. Oof. Okay.
I mean, it'd be like that. It just kind of sucks. Like, it's whenever you get a game where, we're gonna see it with Baldur's Gate 4. We are 100% gonna see it. But like, whenever you get a game where it's just like the main author. It will. Hasbro is absolutely going to make a Baldur's Gate 4. But like, you get the author being like, "Here's my cool work of art," and the company being like, "Great, fuck you, we're making 3 of these," and they're like, no, it's a single encapsulated idea. Like, we just make 1, please, and they're like, actually no, we're going to make like 4 of these, and so. With Baldur's Gate, I mean, we're about to see that, right? Like, the devs from Baldur's Gate aren't working on Baldur's Gate. Hasbro just said, we're making 4, and they went, that's news to us. We didn't get told that. And they went, yeah, you're not on it.
Oh.
So, yeah. Jeez. So, I forget the publisher name. Larian Studios? Larian Studios. Yeah, they're not going to make Baldur's Gate 4. Like, they've already come out and said, like, fuck Hasbro, we're not doing this.
Okay.
So...
Pack it up, everybody. Baldur's Gate is done. Like,
pretty much.
I don't wanna be like that kind of guy, but in this case, dude, the game Baldur's Gate in and of itself, Baldur's Gate 3 specifically, is such a big game. Like, it's an enormous amount of work, and it hits so hard that it might even be the standard nowadays, and that is bullshit. But that's for another topic. Thing is, this game is massive and it did numbers because of what it is. If you don't have the team that made this thing working on the next one, there is very little chance to second to none for that to repeat itself. Unless they manage to reinvent the wheel kind of thing they need to do. Like, because trying to replicate Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be a huge task. Unless they reuse assets from hell and back, which I doubt they will do that nowadays, because nowadays everything needs to be new. But
I don't know. Hasbro is that cheap. That wouldn't surprise me totally. I mean, if you've already made the engine for a game, like we say that, and look at what New Vegas is in comparison to Fallout 3.
Yeah.
Right? New Vegas is, the tech exists, we can focus entirely on the story, and they got Obsidian involved, and the story for New Vegas is amazing. Like
Right.
super detailed, super great, and I don't know. I agree with you though. I think Larian Studios is out, and I'm probably fine. Like I'm okay if Larian goes and makes another Divinity Original Sin, because that game was already pretty fun, and I could definitely see Larian making a sequel to that and just being fine.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, not all the companies are going to use Unreal Engine. Some are going to use in-house engine, and games like that have that like ability of using an in-house engine get transferred to another developer that has no idea how to use it. That it's a recipe for disaster. Like 9 times out of 10, that's a recipe for disaster. Because of how the engine works and how the people who have been working on it know how to manage and improve on it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you get old timers who've like made, like, look at Gamebryo, right? Again, I guess I'm going back to Bethesda for this, right?
A little,
for
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
Obsidian
like,
is technically part of Bethesda, so we didn't left too much, but yeah.
Were they at the time? Were they back in 2010? I don't remember.
I think so. I don't remember. I think thanks to New Vegas they acquired Obsidian, but I'm not sure honestly. Don't quote me on that, so I'm not a reliable source.
That's fair. But it's good enough for just kind of shooting the shit. But no, but I mean, like, Gamebryo is really fucked up, right? Like, to the point where I see TikToks now of people doing like the NPCs walking and doing the sit down animation from Skyrim, and then turning and being like, "I remember you," or just like, "Welcome, traveler. Have you come to my bar?" And just horrible, like, weird, the fucking awkward ass animations from the Gamebryo engines. And yeah, I could definitely see another studio picking up and just being like, "Wow, this is a fucking nightmare. This is absolutely ridiculous to work with."
Yeah.
And just half of it being taming the engine, right?
Yeah, it's like Alex said on the chat. It's like working at Retro Studios and not knowing how to use the Metroid Prime or Donkey Kong Country Return/Tropical Freeze engines. Oh, dude. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there was actually another TikTok that I was watching where the modding scene for Fallout 4 VR realized that Gamebryo was so gross that you don't have a proper skeleton in Fallout 4. They had to, like, that's why when you're playing Fallout 4 VR, it's just a hand or just a controller, because there's no the modding community had to go back, make a player skeleton, and change how the player interacts with the world from a fundamental level so that you could have arms that attach to a body and actually play the game appropriately.
So basically, they actually just released the game and let the fans fix it.
But that's Bethesda's MO.
That's
day one.
that's the most Bethesda move I've ever seen. So yeah, no, that's Bethesda. Also, hey Addy, welcome to the chat.
Yeah, hi.
But yeah, nah, it's Bethesda, god damn it. I fear the day The Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. I fear that day. That's going to be something to behold. I hope so, at least.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't played it, but Starfield wasn't too bad. I mean, people are kind of shitting on it for the amount of content they have, but I think
Starfield, it's like a middle of a road. Like, it's just there. I don't mind it, but I'm not going to play it. If it ever comes out, right, because of all the movement that is going on right now, who knows if Bethesda is going to even exist by that point? Oh, god damn it.
I mean, you say that, but they just had a major brand deal with Amazon, right? Like, Fallout hype is through the absolute roof. Yeah. And I think if they properly capitalize on it and they have another Fallout game out in the next year or two,
that's going to be fine. Yeah. That's going to make from Skyrim to actual Fallout the new, like, head franchise. Maybe with that
I mean,
we're going to stop the ports for Skyrim on everything. Who knows?
hey man, I don't know if you played Skyrim for the Samsung fridge, but like, damn dude, that thing fucking
That's an experience.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. If you ever wanted a frosty one and also to Fusar it out at the same time, dude, I fucking got you.
I think Doombro's way better on that, to be completely honest. Oh, god damn it.
But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I know I've been shitting on Bethesda a lot, but like,
I mean,
their games are just, I don't know, they're an important part of my of playing stuff growing up. Like, I think about games. We talked about like favorite games.
yes.
I'd have to say like it's them, and like the Halo franchise was another one that I played a shitload growing up. World of Warcraft, and right now I'm playing an absolute ton of Final Fantasy 14.
I mean, if you play
and
World of Warcraft, that's just a natural move from one MMO
Oh
to
yeah, and
another.
dude, and like the combat in 14, like, so I love raiding. I got stuck on it. I got to play WoW back in the end of Burning Crusade and the start of Wrath of the Lich King through like the raiding Ice Crown Citadel and getting to the Lich King and stuff. And that feel, that sort of hype and the storyline payoff is exactly what I'm feeling right now in Final Fantasy 14. Like, Final Fantasy 14 has an amazing story, and it's just fun as hell. And like, I like the raiding mechanic aspect of like, they telegraph where you need to stand and stuff well. And sometimes with like WoW, it just like, it was creative, and you got stuff like the Hygen fight in Naxxramas, but like, it wasn't as well choreographed. You just kind of had to learn stuff. Versus like in Final Fantasy, where there's like, hey, look, the boss has quadrants. There's the front, the sides, and the ass, and different stuff is going to happen depending on where you stand, like having positionals. And there's just none of that in that's less emphasized in WoW. And I think Final Fantasy is a stronger rating game for that.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know if you've played a bunch of Final Fantasy or not, but it's worth it, dude. Like,
No.
if you liked WoW, yeah, if you liked WoW, it is a good move.
If I'm being completely honest, I have easier access to WoW than Final Fantasy XIV, but for a good reason, because the payment of it is way more complicated for my region specifically. Like, for those who don't know, I live in Argentina, meaning I live on a region that has not too easy access to it. To the payment of it, to be precise.
Well,
so there
that's
is no
frustrating.
trial version, for example. I need to straight up pay for the game to play it. No matter if I use either Steam or Windows Store or whatever, I have to pay for it. And the price for it is not affordable for a monthly subscription, so that's that. As for World of Warcraft, it's the exact same story, but at least I have Firestorm to play with.
Yeah, Hearthstone.
No, not Hearthstone, Firestorm. For those who are not in the know, your heart, the life of a pirate, is the life I have.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. No, I understand what you mean. And besides, like, I think I had friends that ran a WoW private server at one point, and like, because we were trying to scratch that rating itch, and it was during when everybody went to university kind of thing, and you just didn't have any money. Like, no one had the money to pay for the game, and we were trying to figure out a way to do it without doing a bunch of the grind, because it's the time too. Like, not having the time is a problem.
Yeah. I mean, you're in university. The little time you have is just for what, 1 hour of playtime, and that's it. You need to hit the books after that.
Pretty much, or like you're trying to have a life, you know?
Yeah, too. That
and actually meet people.
Yeah, that too.
But I don't know. I could see why. Yeah, I mean, Square is not exactly the easiest game to be able to pay your subscription for. So like, that sucks, man.
If I need to actually make an account to play Final Fantasy VII original, I'm talking about, not remake, OG, on Steam, an offline game, I need an account to play. Nah. No. That's just bullshit. I played Final Fantasy VII a little bit. I didn't even finish it. But still, though, what the fuck?
Hey, you want to talk about games? You want to talk about games that really... Okay, we've hit on a topic that really frustrates me.
Right.
Games that don't need accounts, but have places to play accounts. Modern Doom. Modern Windows 1995 fucking Doom.
Oh.
It has now put in, log into our game servers through Epic. And it's like, fuck no. Why am I doing that? Why am I doing that for a game that's 30 years old?
And it's
Doom
not
is
even
30
online.
years old.
And it's not even online. Or
Yeah, but you can log in though, bro. Come on, log in. Like what?
What? Leaderboards? I don't give a shit about leaderboards.
No, there's not even leaderboards. It's just for like data tracking and data analytics and stuff, and it's not for you. And
an EA account to play, bruh.
Exactly. Why do I need an EA account to play a game that's 30 years old and runs on everything? I mean, shit. Doom, the original Doom runs on a pregnancy test. Like someone got it to play on a monocolor, limited computer power pregnancy test. Like it runs on everything. Why the fuck do I need an account to play it? It's ridiculous. It's silly.
Yeah, it can be literally everywhere at this point, and it's just I don't know.
That and honestly, like
the necessity for getting data from you, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, you're right. It was a Bethesda account because they own id Software. That's right. That's a bit. Hey, I didn't mean for this whole talk to be shit on Bethesda, but like I guess I am.
I completely forgot about that too. Like that explains why 2016 needed an account.
Yeah, but I mean, but Doom I think is a poster child for a game series that just does not need that. And by that I mean also you don't like it's open source at this point. Like when John Carmack and those dudes were wrapping up Doom, they just released the engine, and I think that's one of the best things that has happened to gaming because like you get a bunch of cool Doom mods. Like I've been meaning to play My House, which is this creepy horror game mod for Doom. There's like Brutal Doom, where someone went back in and added like first-person shooter stuff to Doom, and so it's not just like you're on one level and you're just like rotating. You actually have like your camera can move around. It's neat. Like there's so much custom and cool shit in Doom that people have just made because the engine was open source. Like people have made whole RPGs, man. It's wild what Doom supports now. There's stuff like Xandronum.
Oh yeah, I like how I like the stories of games that just starts as like mods for other games. Like League of Legends started as a Warcraft 3 mod. Same with Dota.
Yeah.
Like that specific mod technically spawned two games of the same genre, which is the MOBA game. Like you have Dota 2 and League of Legends separate entities, and that spawned a whole genre too. I think there was another game that spawned from a mod of Doom, but I don't remember which one. I'm blanking on that one because I know that it happened with Doom. It had to. It is an iconic game, and it has been modded to hell and back too. It's like how Sonic Rumble Blast 2 has a full-on Persona 3 mod. Yes.
Hey, and also Alex's previous comment. Hey babe, great news, I'm pregnant, but you want to play Doom on the test? That's relationship goals. I don't know what else is.
I don't know.
That right there, boom. I would. I mean, hopefully you've locked it down if you're having a pregnancy test together and it's positive, right? But that is an absolute keeper.
Which was a game made on the Doom engine. Wow.
Yeah, I mean I think that's one of the best things that's happened for gaming. Like open source stuff like that leading to game development is amazing. Like I mean, look at Godot right now. Like Godot is eating not Unreal. What's the other engine?
Unity, Unreal Engine.
Yeah, Unity. Godot is eating Unity's lunch right now because Unity are insane. That whole thing last year was absolutely nuts, man. Like, why? Yeah, I just don't understand why you would do that.
Me neither.
Oh, good for Godot. They deserve it. I actually want to learn to use that at some point because I've poked around with trying to make my own 3D models and stuff. Like, I mean, shit, I'm already here. Like, I'm interested in 3D VTubing.
Yeah.
And just continuing forward and trying to make something is a goal of mine in the future. But Godot is amazing.
I mean, with Vroid, you literally have easy access to 3D modeling if you want a specific like human base model for testing and shit. And you can
exactly.
to Blender to modify it a little bit and Unity to stitch stuff together and GG's. That's how
I mean, I've done
things at least.
Yeah, and I like what you've done, man. Like I like the hat. I like what you've made. Like it's been easy to the point where with Vroid, one of my brothers and I do VR chat sometimes, and he just easily made his own avatar without really needing to learn too much, just straight up from Vroid and Blender.
Well, in my case,
and like boom, you have.
In my case, was a mix of like just commissioning for the goggles and then just did the rest on Vroid and Blender. Blender, I mean Unity. So the toggle for the goggles is basically just done in Unity. The rest is all Vroid. That's it. Like
makes sense.
Just save some resources.
And I mean, like what you're seeing here, my model is a model that was meant for VTubing, but also I can do
VR chat.
I can take into VR chat. Yeah, but it lets me do stuff like this. Like I could actually, I've got a whole another helmet that I've got.
Holy shit!
In like a full robot mode.
Oh.
Yeah, so now I'm just like a totally different guy.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. What the hell? I was thinking maybe your model is a mix between Vroid and then you just took out the arms and replaced it with like custom 3D one, but no, it's a full-on robot model.
Well, I think so. Yeah, it was my artist was my 3D artist is a pretty prominent dude in the VR chat avatar making communities. Zetterano, I'm gonna pimp him for sure. He's an excellent guy.
Hey.
Definitely, yeah. If you go to my Twitter, I specifically link him, and always link your artists. They are the people that keep VTubing going. Definitely support your artists.
For those who, perfect segue for the little plug. If you wanna check the socials for Skip, you can either click on the ad that is on the title of the stream, or you can do !TG, and it should give you access to Skip's channel. There is everything there, like their socials, and I think in the about page you have credited the artist too for the model.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Fucking Lenny.
Okay. And he'll let me do stuff like this. Yeah.
But yeah, no. Yeah, go check Skip out. It has a lot of cool stuff going on there. And what else? I'm blanking on something else I was about to say. If you want the playlist, it's !GPL. For those who are watching on YouTube, it's on the description down below. Everything, like the playlist and the link for the guest. I think I completely forgot to add the playlist to every single episode, but you know what? I'm not going to start anyway, so fuck it. It's just a link on the description. The important part is the socials.
Yeah, but most importantly, support this man. Support this man. Wait, over here? This way. Yeah, support this man. He's fantastic. You better do it.
Don't oversell me that much, dude.
Hey, I'm just happy. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for putting this together. Hey, it takes effort to run stuff like this, and put together shows like this. I mean, that's the thing. Like content creation. I know that there's a lot of meta talk about content creation and stuff, but like the amount of passion that it takes to like just do this on a regular basis, especially when you get like, you know, when you have your off days or there's not like a bunch of people rooting for you, and just to stay consistent and keep doing it is really tough. And I respect the hell out of the fact that you're still that you're doing stuff like this on a regular basis. You got a guest every weekend, and you're trucking forward. You know, like that's huge. It's really easy to sit and just like scroll TikToks forever. It's really fucking hard to make those TikToks. So
you're talking about that, and I don't make TikToks. Like, I just do this. Like, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to focus and be consistent on more than one type of content. That's part of the reason why you just mostly see this kind of stuff on my main channel. Like, the show is the most consistent upload I have. But that's because getting into the actual like grind set of just making the show, then making the shorts and making the videos, unless there is an actual motive that I want to do it for, I don't see the reason to do it. That's part of the reason why. If I don't see a reason to do it, I don't do it. But the reason why I keep going with this is because it's multiple things at once that I'm tackling. Like, I'm a kind of guy that doesn't like hanging out in places. Like, if I see a place that is way too crowded, you are not going to see me there. Like, maybe I'm chatting on, like, the text chat or something like that, but outside of that, no, I'm not there. So, what I do with this show is basically, I reach out to literally strangers and then say, hey, you wanna be on the show? We just chat, and that's it. Like, to meet out something out. And here's where the phrase, the worst thing they can say is no, applies, because the worst thing they can say is no, thank you, or something like that, and that's that. I'll just continue with my life. And with that, I technically just get rid of a little bit of my shyness, and just when I'm at it, I get some content out of it. And this is something that everybody can do. Like, you don't need a specific game or a specific like type of PC. You just need a PNG, and we are set to go. If you have a model, even better. That's it.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
For the longest time, like I pointed towards, Basil, the VTuber.
Yeah.
He, for the longest time, was just a PNG, and I pointed to him as like the poster child of like amazing dude, very funny, extremely quick wit, and he didn't have a crazy expensive model. Like I went all in because like I'm me and paranoid, and I love this. I'm fascinated by the fact that I can show you like I can do this shit with my hands, and I just think this is the coolest nerd shit in the world. But like, you don't have to do that, you know?
Right, you're a tech enthusiast. In your case, you can just do what I did if you have the computer for it, of course. Just grab Vroid, play around with it. It's like playing Sims. But in this case, the whole game is just the character creator, and you can go apeshit with it because you can add stuff from your own computer into it. Like, you can add textures or whatever the fuck you want to draw on top of it. Heck, you can even go to a pig crew or something, grab two different, one with the mouth open, one with the mouth closed, and there, you go to your PNG.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's through stuff like Vtuber and other like PNG tubing applications. Or like, I've seen artists make stuff in like Honk, where it has voice tracking, so that it does AEIOU vowels, and that shit's amazing. Like, it'll follow your mouse. You basically have an entire puppet that you can do, and you don't have to show your face if that's a thing that bothers you for streaming, and it just means that you get to be funny on the internet.
Yeah, that's part of the charm of VTubing. You just have to chill out with whatever you want to do, and you don't have to worry about just taking yourself out, you know? There are some, for example, jobs that it's better to just keep them separate from content creation, and part of the reason why I'm just using a VTuber model. So it's cool to have a backup plan in IRL stuff, you know?
Yeah, whereas for me, this is entirely a passion project. Like, I'm a mechanical engineer full-time, and I don't mind talking about that. That's like my day job.
It's a hobby. This is how.
Yeah, exactly. And like, before this, I actually camera streamed. Like, if you go back and look at some of my videos, there's still just me camera streaming, and I still do that occasionally whenever I kind of feel like it. Like, I've got the whole setup still, and like, for my debut, I actually had an entire filmed and produced sequence that I directed and filmed of me dumping my meat person consciousness into the robot that you're seeing here. And it just was this silly, cheesy thing, but it was a challenge to myself to like learn video production and stuff. And I don't know. It's been fun. VTubing has been amazing, and like I get to meet folks like you. Like if you hadn't have reached out and said, "Hey, do you want to be on my show?" I don't think that you and I would have ever had the pleasure to meet. And I've met some amazing people that way. So like, it's great. Like I can't recommend enough someone just going and getting a PNG, finding a game that they like, and just pressing stream.
Yeah, it's just for shits and giggles, and you never know what you like until you try it. You know. It's like ice cream. Unless you try that flavor that is on the wall written down there, you never know if you like it or not. And plus, it's a good practice. Like, just to get rid of like, if you want to get rid of like camera shyness and public panic and stuff like that. Like, if you have to do a speech, the best way to practice to get rid of it's usually streaming. That usually. At least for me, it worked. Like, doing this show and streaming for almost 3 years, I can actually just be in front of people talking with a microphone on a stage and not worry about it too much. Like, it's still daunting, don't get me wrong. It's still a huge task. But it's not as daunting as it was before, at least for me. I can see the difference.
Yeah. I mean, like when you're routinely just sitting in down and I know that there's the whole mindset of, ooh, do I look at my streaming numbers or not, and like how many people are watching me, and having that affect your mood. But like if you sit down and you're like, you get rated and you have like 20 people, right, and it's just you. Like, I find it still flattering that you can talk to an entire. It's like talking to a whole classroom full of people that are just there to watch you and just chill with you.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Like it's and it definitely helps with the public speaking thing, like you're talking about. Like you probably picked up on the fact that like I'm in my 30s. Like I am definitely an old VTuber. But like when I took public speech in school, and when we did that, there was nothing like this at all. Like I was in the land of like AOL Instant Messenger chat and shit. So like the thought of having, unless you had like a video blog, that was not a thing. And so just having this like free and easy, and you can just go get OBS and just pick up and start streaming tomorrow, is fucking rules. It's awesome.
Yeah, if you're having problems with OBS, tutorials are all over YouTube and Reddit and every place. I recommend going if you see it on Reddit, because usually that's where the good shit is, like the good answers to some questions are, but with videos you're going to be much fine. You're going to be just fine. But yeah, no.
You're making me think. You know how I know I'm old? It's because I crave the days of when GameFAQs was a thing, and I could just read a text guide for a video game.
Well,
and, like,
I can actually.
Sorry, go ahead.
I actually still do that. Actually, like I just go to GameFAQs and just check for a specific thing that I couldn't manage to do myself, so I can see what the fuck am I doing wrong here. Oh, it's this thing. I might do this thing then. Okay. And it works.
Instead of like scrubbing through some guys playthrough, and you're just like, all right, cool. I got about 25 minutes to scrub through and find the exact part that I'm at, and hope that it has the thing I want, instead of just being able to text search it. Or like that's why I was so happy when Persona 3 got re-released, because I was like, yes, fuck yes. There's a GameFAQs for this. I can read about what I need to do next. I can read about how to do the months and stuff optimally, and like. I never had the chance to play Persona because Persona is super fucking long, and I haven't had a chance to play it yet. But it came out, and I was like, "Ooh, yes, good old guy shit. Yes, awesome."
Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Funny. The GameFAQs mostly when I had to visit them, it was mostly for Yakuza related stuff. Like I was playing Yakuza 0 and Kiwami 1, and all the thing worked. Like all the GameFAQs there work. That they're pretty solid. If you want to use it for that too. There are some modern games that are like featuring that, like they have playthroughs and stuff there. So it's interesting.
Which is good. I mean, it's just I know why it kind of died, right? Because like you can't monetize a text walkthrough as well, even if it's on like Steam or something. Like there's actually some good text walkthroughs on Steam and stuff if you're stuck, but like you can't monetize that like you can a YouTube video, you know?
Yeah. But still, though, it's good to have the text version with some images or videos to go along with it. Like, I had problems finding some secrets on DMC5 when I was trying to 100% complete one run, right? So I checked out and I checked a playthrough of it. I checked some videos and some like images to go along with it, and that actually worked. It took me a minute, and I had to ask a friend that actually also played the game and to tell me where I'm missing something. But yeah, that's what happens when you're missing just one object. But hey, the game is completed. That's it.
Like, oh man, that's like the yeah, like games that have hundreds of collectibles and you're just missing one and you want to 100% it. I'm looking at you, Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Kazooie 2.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like that once I finish Rayman 2. God damn it.
Yeah, I was kind of creeping on you yesterday while you were playing, and
Yeah,
that is a absolutely a game ass game, man. Like that is very like 2000s platformer ass game.
Funny.
Like I got Banjo-Kazooie 2 vibes and like Jet Force Gemini vibes from that.
Yeah. The thing with Rayman 2, right? It's that the later versions are completely different to the at least the version that I played before, which is the PS1 version. The Nintendo 64 and PS1 versions are a little bit more simplified, but in some areas are kinda better. At least for me. It's an interesting thought. It's the second time that I'm seeing that the best version of the game, it's the downgraded version of it. Like, I played Sonic Unleashed right before this, and the PS2 version of Sonic Unleashed, I considered it way better compared to the PS3 360 version. Same happens with Rayman, I don't know why. I still need to play the Dreamcast version because people say that's the better version of the game, but I don't know.
Yeah, if you've never played it too, I played the 2D version at a friend's house when I was growing up. Was it on the Genesis? The Sega Genesis? I can't remember. I think it was. But the 2D version's pretty fun. Like, it had a like create your own map section and stuff, and I remember liking it a ton.
For what game? For Rayman?
For Rayman, yeah, like the very first one
Oh.
was a 2D platformer.
Yes. Huh.
What else? What else am I trying to think of? Like that, and like I remember, like from that same era of Sonic on the Sega Genesis, there was like, maybe I do mean the Saturn.
Saturn.
Yeah, maybe I mean the Sega Saturn. That's right. Yeah, shit. I'm trying to think of like there was a bunch of. I mean, there was a bunch of clones around that time. Like Nintendo had Banjo-Kazooie. There was Rayman. There was Sonic, Mario games, but there was also like stuff like Ristar that no one ever played on the Sega Genesis, and like fucking Bubsy.
Krog.
Bubsy 3D.
Krog
Yeah.
was another, yes. Well, Bubsy was more of that era, like SNES, Genesis type of stuff.
Right, because it was like the same. It had the same sort of vibe and energy as Crash Bandicoot.
Ah, yeah. Ristar, my favorite.
Yeah, Ristar, hell yeah.
Hey.
That's right, average Ristar enjoyer. Good job. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm getting old, and every single time I played one version of the game, and then I played the sequel or a better version of the game for a later generation, I think the previous generation version is better. Like, it happened 3 times already. I don't know if it's a coincidence or I'm just getting old. Like, first with Sonic Unleashed, second with Rayman, and the third time happened with, funny enough, Sega and All-Stars Racing. Like, the first out of the 3 games Sumo Digital did for this racing franchise, the first one is the best one. Even though it has its problems and it's kind of fixed on the second and third game, the first one has the best personality for me of all the Sega games. Period. I mean, that's at least for me.
That makes sense, though. I mean, like, it isn't that the thing with like even with like books and stories and stuff. Like for the very first thing, like look at Do you know the author Andy Weir, the guy who wrote The Martian, that became the movie that came out back in like 2014 or 2016?
No, but
okay.
Continue.
So Andy Weir was an author that his first book was a hit smash and like was about a guy who got stuck on Mars. The premise is that the Martian space program is happening, NASA's on Mars. A storm happens, and an astronaut whose name is Mark Watney gets stranded there. And it's all about his trials and tribulations of trying to survive and escape Mars as the only human stuck on Mars. And how NASA works to try to get him home. Mm-hmm. And that was his first book, and every other book since then has done like okay. And I've enjoyed them, but like I've seen them kind of go downhill. And it's this whole thing where like when it's your first published work and it's really good, you have infinite time before that work to like work on it and hone it and craft it. And so in the case of like first games that come out that are like super tight and their graphics are great and the controls feel great, and then you play the sequel and it's like, ooh, right? Yeah. It's because they have all that time to get it right before it comes out. That's what I think, at least. And then it's like, oh fuck, we did this thing. We are gonna have about like, I don't know, a year. Well, the energy is still good for us to release a sequel. And then they panic and they release something, and it's a little less tight. It's still fine, but the story is not as snappy. The gameplay isn't as good, and that's, I think, part of why. That's just funding expectations and shit, right?
Yeah, but sometimes you get stuff like Crash Bandicoot, for example. Crash Bandicoot 1, it's good for what it is. It's a good start. But it doesn't get good until Crash Bandicoot 2 or 3. Like, Crash Bandicoot 1 is a solid game. It's an entertaining game. It's a little too hard on the PS1. The Insane Trilogy kind of fixed all of the problems with it. But then you have Crash 2 and 3 that add a lot of things and just make a lot of... Oh, there it goes.
I got you.
Thanks for the gift sub, though. Wait, what?
Support this man. Yeah. both sad and Bracer friends.
Hey. Thank you for the gift subs, though. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. But like you were saying, the tightness of games, right?
Yeah, the games get good. Like, you have the 2 sequels that each improve on each other, right? And then you have a complete change of like face with Crash Team Racing, and it ends up being, at least in my opinion, right, the best kart race of all time. It's the best one, and like no contest. I played Mario Kart, I played the Sonic games, I played every single kart racer in existence so far, and nothing can top that one. At least for me, in control-wise, it's perfect. The amount of characters, well, it can be better, but still, it's really, really good. And it's just an entertaining time for single player and multiplayer alike. It's literally the first try they did, and they nailed it perfectly. There are some other great kart races at the time too, like you have Mario Kart on the 64, you have Diddy Kong Racing.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, I have a story about Diddy Kong Racing. And Resident Evil, but like, yeah, I mean, that's why, honestly, dude, like, that's why I'm super pumped for formerly Bloodborne Kart, with Sony being like lawsuit, now Nightmare Kart that's being released by Lilith Waller, the dev, on Twitter.
I put that
on
my
wish list. It looks so fucking good.
I put that on my wish list because it looks
it comes out end of this month. I'm so pumped. It's gonna be great.
Yes.
For those that don't know or don't follow her, Lilith Waller is an indie dev who's been trying to make the joke is that, like, maybe not FromSoft, but, like, you get 2 serious games like Crash 1 and Crash 2, and then you get the kart racer, right? Yes. Like, that's how the progression of serious platformers go. Mm-hmm. So, it's Bloodborne. There's obviously no sequel. And then Bloodborne Kart, because it's funny.
Well, technically, they technically did also the prequel. Like, no, not the prequel, the remake of Bloodborne 1. They did it on like a PS1 fan game, and then they tried to make kart. That's right. That's what I at least understand from it, because I've been following them since they released the Bloodborne remake. I tried it, but I'm not a big fan of Souls-like to begin with, so yeah.
But now you got a kart racer. Hey, yeah, it's gonna be really good.
I got something to gravitate towards. Yep, that's going to be fun. Hey,
So hi, Doom. But yeah, man, like I'm pumped for that. That and just like even just this year, like this year and last year, like the indie dev scene is just fucking exploding. Like you get stuff like that came out this month, stuff like Abiotic Factor, a game that is like if you smashed Half-Life and SCP into a survival style game, like your Minecrafts and your Minecraft and your Grounded at all, like that sort of game.
Yeah.
There's been last year there was Dredge, which was fucking amazing, like the horror fishing game.
This year was the release of a little indie game that is, I think, just another game on the Deep Rock Galactic series. Survivor.
Yeah. The top-down shooter.
Yeah, that one. It's not technically top-down shooter. I call it a bullet heaven because that's technically what it is. But yeah, I need to check out Abiotic. Yes. You do,
Egan. Egan and I actually played through Black Mesa together. We need to finish that, but we were playing through Black Mesa together, which is a great game, a great
Black
remake
Mesa.
of Half-Life 1. I fucking love the Half-Life series.
Black Mesa is the definition of a great remake. How to remake a legendary game to begin with. Like, holy shit.
Did you follow the... I've been following those guys since like 2008. When it was just like a fan group that was trying to remake Black Mesa.
I had a friend of mine doing that, actually. Like, he will give me updates every once in a blue moon. But when he showed me stuff, I was just, dude, this shit looks great.
That's cool.
Specifically,
that's cool.
I didn't want him to spoil me too much because I never finished Half-Life Original. So I've just seen images of it, and the things I've seen, it's just amazing. Holy shit!
Yeah, you should play Black Mesa, and then two, like it definitely holds up. It's definitely a really. I've played both Half-Life 1. I also got a copy of it when I was in university and just played through it for fun. It holds up. It's very much like the original, and it's a really good remake. And I think that Black Mesa is a perfect example of when a dev doesn't want to go remake its original IP and isn't a dick and actually works with the fans to make a version that will do well. And they sell it. And I mean, like, Crowbar Collective gets money from it, right?
Yeah.
It's all these devs doing a passion project, and Valve just went, yeah, you want to make money? Like, fuck it. We're not going to touch this game again.
And the second example I have for that is Sonic Mania.
Yeah, like, again, why can't we do that with that? But we get shit like another Metroid 2 remake. And that being amazing, and then you get stuff like Nintendo being like, actually, no, we're gonna shit on that. Like, no,
damn it.
you people with your passion and your hard work, like, nah, fuck you. You know, like it's frustrating, especially when it's like it's a passion project and you know it's not there because people want to make a buck. They just enjoy the franchise so much that they want to actually support it and keep the IP rolling, especially when the devs don't do shit. And that kind of brings us full circle back to Heroes of Might and Magic 3 and the expansions that came out that I fucking love, that add 2 new factions to the game from 1999 that Ubisoft won't fucking do anything with a notable exception. We can talk about that, but like,
funny,
just
like,
yeah.
Speaking of Ubisoft that doesn't do shit with their franchise, let's talk to the exact opposite. What other game companies outside of Bethesda, because Bethesda is kind of like a prime example of this at this point for me. What kind of other game companies you know that cares about the old IPs or the old games they have, that they just have them on a store laying around that you can still buy nowadays? Like with Bethesda, for example, you can get access to all of their games. All of them. Including the really old ones. All of them are on Steam, for example. And on Epic Games Store, to that matter. But I don't think any other company does that, does it?
I mean, No, like I know the devs, the Cyberpunk devs, Project CD Project Red own Good Old Games, and that's like their main moneymaker. But like, unless you're a studio like Night Dive Studios, which remade System Shock 1, and they also just made the Dark Forces 1 remake or remaster, I guess. I don't know of a bunch of companies that do that. I mean, like, okay, maybe Capcom. Right? Capcom has done remakes of Phoenix Wright.
Yeah, Capcom
right?
does sometimes remakes, sometimes just re-releases in bundles, like the Mega Man collections.
That's a great example.
That's a good way to keep some old games all in one package, and a good way to re-release them. Yeah. Sometimes the lag can be a little bit too much for my end, but hey, it's playable. For the multiplayer specifically, the Mega Mans might be really good.
I mean, Nintendo's trying to do that a little bit, right? Like they sort of have it
with the Nintendo Online Store. Yes, they're bringing back a lot of other games. Where's my Punch-Out Wii? Damn it!
Hey, good luck, man. I don't. Aside from that, I don't think you're gonna get it. But like, it's kind of easy to mod a Wii, you know? Like, you could just get the hardware for a Wii and just have the game on the Wii and not worry about it. You know, like it's yeah, exactly. It's trivial. And then like, what if you really want to get crazy? The scene of trying to modify game consoles to output 1080 so you can get them to stream to Twitch, including a Wii, is just like this weird, crazy modding scene.
I'm guessing it's possible because out of the old consoles, the Wii and the PS2, I think the OG Xbox is also capable of this. But all the game consoles that had access to internet should be able to be modified like that, right?
Maybe not on Xbox 360. I think the security is too tight. Like the newer ones, not so much. But like, if you wanted to mod a PS2, it's relatively easy. GameCubes are super easy. Like there's a group that makes like a chip that plugs into the digital out port for a GameCube that you can get an upscaler for, and then just play whatever. Like I have a GameCube right now where I've ripped the disc drive out, and there's just a SD card for all the games that I legitimately own for GameCube. Wink. Are on that as backups for me to play that way, and then I can output that over HDMI and play that on a TV. So if I wanted to play the original Luigi's Mansion, I can play it in like 720p, which is better than a better resolution than what the GameCube could do.
Yeah.
On GameCube hardware, which is rad.
Yeah, in my case, for example, I'm just not too much of like modifying the original resolution. I'm kind of I appreciate the classic box standard type of resolution, you know? Kind of the reason why I don't bother with like modifying emulators to make it so it looks way better than it should. Because sometimes it doesn't. But it just depends on the person, I guess.
And I mean, don't do what I'm doing. It's unless you have the money. Well, I mean, I say that from a money perspective. Like it can get expensive.
Oh yeah,
it's fun and it's cool, and the chip modding, like there are people that are way smarter than me that are reverse engineering Nintendo products from like 2001 and doing insane cool mods with like Game Boy Advances and Game Boy Colors and the original Game Boy or PSPs, and like just doing really neat stuff. Like to the point where there's actually a guy that has gone back, taken an original Game Boy camera and made a real camera out of it that uses the like, I think it's like 120 something pixel, like less than a megapixel. It's like a kilopixel camera on that the Game Boy camera. It's like real shitty. And they've done that specifically because they like the art style, and they made a real point and shoot camera out of that. Or like dudes that have gone back and modded it so that they've 3D printed. There's a guy who took a regular, you know, the tall Game Boy cartridges.
Yeah.
From the original Game Boy.
Yeah.
They've crammed the entirety of the Game Boy camera into that using an iPhone cell phone camera.
Wow.
On a chip. Yeah. as like you don't have a little webcam bubble that sits up top. It's just a little cell phone camera lens on that chip that sits inside the Game Boy case, and it's fucking cool as hell. And I love that stuff. Like,
Wow.
there's some dudes on Instagram that specifically do just that, and I am totally geeked for all of it.
Son of a
Like,
bitch.
there's that. There's another guy that has made custom cases and custom stickers that you can buy, where it's the Game Boy chip that they've totally remade. You just all that you do is you unsolder the camera sensor from a Game Boy camera. Sorry, you unsolder a camera sensor from a Game Boy camera, and you resolder onto this board that he's made and releases and sells, and you then put a new housing around it, and then you use the IR like zoom lens from a security camera that you can just buy for $8 on eBay, and you make a professional quality camera with this like shitty Game Boy camera from 2001, and it's great. And there are guys that do this stuff, and they also do they make color pictures from the Game Boy camera by taking a regular photo and then lighting their subject in just red, just blue, and just green, and then overlaying all 4 of those pictures in Photoshop to make a color Game Boy camera picture, which is wild to me.
Yeah, no, that's wild. What the hell?
Yeah, and you can do the same thing. I've seen people do that in life where they don't have access to lighting, just by doing color filter lenses that snap onto the security camera. So you do all 3 channels of camera. It's neat. Like, there's the modding scene for old consoles is, I think it's the best that it's ever been, and it's super fun. But it is money, so I understand that people don't get into it.
Yeah,
it's just neat.
Yeah, for me it's way simpler to just grab an emulator and play it. But I wanted to just get a Wii and experience it for it, because there is something there is something unique on experiencing the actual like movement gimmicks it has. Specifically for the Wii.
Yeah.
The GameCube is not too much, because at the end of the day, it's just another competitor for the PS2 and the original Xbox. It's just a console with a controller with no specific gimmick attached to it. It's a debate which controller was the best at the time, like PS2 or GameCube, but honestly, either one is good.
I mean, the PS2, I will have a soft spot for the PS2 controller, just because it's still like the DualShock 4 is still, or 5 is still basically the same layout today, and the PS2 controller was also just like, I mean, you could do the Metal Gear Solid 2 like I'm gonna lean around corner stuff, right? Like, who else could fucking do that?
Yeah.
Like with the analog triggers on the PS2, right?
Yeah.
That was the move. That was the thing.
Yeah, and plus the design for the controller outside of the like first model of the PS1 has stayed the same since the beginning practically. Like, there was a PS1 version with the actual analog stick and the DualShock 1, I think it's called. Since then, it has kept the same exact layout except for the PS4, which that's when they integrated the touchpad. But even then, it's still practically the exact same thing. It's practically the exact same thing.
Yeah, and I actually do have a PS1 controller that has no analog sticks. But like they added the little concave dents like everybody had from the like when Xbox 360 made the little dents on the top of controllers and like made that kind of a standard, instead of it being like, if you go mess with the PS2 controller, it's got the like little hemispherical button on top, and it's not as nice of a thumb feel.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only real difference. Everything else is fucking same.
Yeah.
Maybe like rumble triggers and stuff, like that's new, but like otherwise same stuff.
Yeah.
But like, even nowadays, I'm still jazzed that there's companies that, like, for the PS2, you can actually get plug-in dongles that let you use Bluetooth controllers on PS2.
Oh,
so you can use your DualShock 5 on your PS2 if you want.
Oh, that's...
And just sit across the room from it, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. God damn it. Just the thought of using something that new into something that old, it's just insane.
That's why I like console modding as much as I like it.
Yeah. I mean,
That and like trying to specifically get the game as it looked when it came out, and show that to people on Twitch. That's the thing. It sort of works on PS2. If you have, there's a company called Brooks that makes a dongle that specifically works with DualSense.
it's a converter.
So,
it's a converter. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've seen one of those, but this one specifically was for arcade stick, and I think it was for the Saturn, not for the PS2. It was for the Saturn. Yeah, I remember watching a video of someone trying to play, I think it was Street Fighter Alpha 2 with an arcade stick, but that wasn't compatible, so they hooked up an adapter they had. They managed to make it work.
There's some crazy stuff for the Saturn now where you can actually, like, if you swap out the controller connection board, there's a guy that makes ones that makes one that is just Bluetooth. Same with, he makes one for the GameCube as well. That lets you connect a Bluetooth controller to a Saturn, and then you can buy Bluetooth Saturn controllers that allow you to put the what were the memory cards on the Saturn called? The big chunky ones that had their own LCD screens that you could play, like you can play mini games of your game saves on it. Those memory cards will fit in this controller and be powered and stuff, and they're just it's neat. I love like new hardware affecting old hardware to the point where, like, even nowadays you can get there's a guy that makes go ahead.
It's it was a Dreamcast thing. It's a UMD.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, because that sounds more of a Dreamcast, because the controller of the Dreamcast was a huge thing that has a gap for specifically that thing that had just a little LCD screen that played around with. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Saturn's memory was built into the console. Oh, so it was one of the first.
Well, that's gonna be like the first one, yeah.
Ooh, so it did left a mark. Huh.
But yeah, the UMD thing is neat, and also there's a guy that sells memory cards nowadays that the memory cards for a GameCube and a PS1 and a PS2 that have Wi-Fi chips in them, and you can upload your saves from your PS2 to cloud storage. So that all of your saves are backed up, and you don't. If you lose the card, you don't lose your saves, and then you can get another one of the cards and download them again. So you have cloud saving on a console from 2001, which is insane. It's just I don't know. It's just so cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
Jesus. All right. I think we had a good time here.
Yeah, you gotta wrap it up?
Yeah, I want to wrap it up. Do you have anyone you want to rate? I usually let the guest decide that.
I absolutely do. So I've got a friend, Jim Bitty Bim Bim.
Alright.
He's a friend of mine that I will give you the link.
Alright.
That. He's playing Crow Country, which looks like an amazing game. And that just came out. It's a PS1 style horror game. And yeah, Jim's a really good friend. Definitely worth rating.
Alright, we're going to rate them then. Alright.
Fantastic.
That was it for us here. That was an amazing one.
Yeah, I had a blast, man. If you ever want to do something in the future, please let me know.
Sure.
I had a lot of fun talking.
Alright.
This is super fun.
Yeah. Yeah, most likely I'm going to reach you out about it, for sure.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, thank you again for accepting being here. It was an amazing time for me too. It was
yeah,
awesome.
well,
And I would definitely have a lot to keep talking about. Like, there were some topics that we didn't even manage to tackle properly. So yeah, definitely.
Right. I mean, I still want to talk about RuneScape. We haven't even talked about Danganronpa, and that's been on this playlist and is a huge game that I like. But like, man, I would be happy to talk your ear off in the future.
Yeah, we didn't tackle Metal Gear properly too. We tackled it a little, but not too much. We tackled it a little with Kojima stuff, but Kojima gets the pass. It's Kojima. It's fucking Kojima.
Exactly.
But yeah, we are out of here, people. I'll be seeing you guys on the next one. most likely be posting about it on Twitter if I manage. But yeah, be seeing you around.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me, Dan. Thanks, everyone.
Later.